Hello there. Sorry about that. Hello there. I think everything should be up and running now, hopefully. You're ready for a pretty chill stream here. Just got off work. A little bit delayed. Hopefully I made it in time, just about. Been a decent day at work, but I'm looking forward to just relaxing a little bit with the McLaren save right now. So how are we all doing? Is it working? I'll just have a quick look. Check for myself to be on the safe side here. But yeah, we are ready to jump into it. So I am assuming that it is, in fact, working. Hello, Stego. Hello, BT. I'm doing good. Luckily, work wasn't too bad, so I'm ready to put in a few races here. Probably go for a couple of hours before I need to run to the store. Yeah. Hello, Edster. Hello, Pocanaldo. Hello, Geordie. Was a bit surprised that there were actually quite a decent amount of people waiting in the room. But yeah, we're going to continue with McLaren here. Currently, we are almost 30 points. Well, just over 30 points ahead of Red Bull. Lando is leading the championship. Just under 30 points ahead of Verstappen. Piastri in third. So it is looking promising. We do apparently have some damage here, which is a broken gearbox, which I assume is a crash that I seem to vaguely remember from last time around. But that is going to be a bit interesting to deal with. Hello, Mine Underground. Hello, Keith. Hello, Wolf. Hello, Marco. What has the king? Watched your video earlier. We were pretty lucky on that, honestly. But then again, I think we would have been able to score points in 10th or 9th. But the crashes did kind of give us a golden opportunity to score points. So that is, that's good. You accidentally deleted your save. That is very sad. That's the reason why I usually keep my save running on at least a 2 save rolling system, just to be safe there. The spraying that the CFD and Intel allows of the last 2 periods good enough to be good next season. Andrew, basically, what's going to decide if you're good next season is if your research have caught up to the loss that you're going to be basically suffering. Basically, you want your research to be higher than this number, and if you can pull that off, you're usually going to have a pretty good next season, honestly. That'll do most of it. Of course, CFD and Wind Tunnel will be a nice boost, but they aren't going to be critical. It's basically just going to be do enough research. Thank you, Ed. With my McLaren save on Singapore and 3 mil off the cost cap. Honestly, you can probably continue it, but again, you're going to have a bit of a stunted growth there towards the end of the season. You're probably going to go with the cost cap. You are going to be losing a lot of money to fines, but it's still, you know, salvageable, I think. So I see one with Alpha, but didn't have enough money to upgrade facilities. Again, I don't think upgrading facilities is going to be a huge thing you need to do. Because, again, your wind tunnel and your CFD sim, if you use these for research, it's actually best to just leave them at 1. Level 2 does not give them anything more for research purposes than level 1 does, interestingly enough. So with the 6 periods, and of course also the monthly upkeep for these, it's better to leave them at 1. In this case, we have them at level 2. You know, it's not great, but it's what it is. We are probably going to be upgrading, I think, the Science Center this time around. Get this up 1 more level. We're probably going to be upgrading the suspension sim rather than refurbishing, because suspension sim in particular and the car part test center here has virtually no increase in upkeep, meaning they don't really cost anything more for your cost cap and still give you a huge amount of stats. So yeah, it's I wouldn't be too worried about facilities. If you get your helipad, if you get your, you know, race simulator for your drivers, your team up for your staff, you're usually going to be good, honestly. I'm going to do a save with McLaren until oh, that's painful, Poco, honestly. Took me 2 months. Honestly, that's not bad, BT. I wouldn't say that is bad. As I said, on my save, I have been kind of lucky. Now, I'm just going to quickly catch up with what I'm doing here, because again, I have been running a few saves that I'm a little bit behind personally. But I think what we are going to do here is actually do a couple of upgrades to our facilities. Interestingly enough, we're actually just going to upgrade the car parts center here, because again, it is very, very good boost, particularly the engine cooling, the brake cooling. I still value these highly because, again, it saves you money in the long run. Downforce is always nice, so I think we're going to upgrade the car part test center. Could probably do, again, the suspension sim maybe. Would actually catch up quite a bit here on the downforce with the suspension. Or we just go all out for the design center, but again, that's going to be fairly costly, so I don't think that is going to be the best move here. That facilities are caught up. Operation facilities are caught up, so Yeah, I think we're good. If only high-risk curb is stupidly insane. Yeah, it can be stupidly insane on track the way it works, so it's kind of weird. I'm with Alfa Romeo, but I'm barely surviving upgrades, are quite effective. I'm ready to Canada. Any development tips that I can catch up on? Well, the thing is, again, what we did with our car, which honestly in 5 days here, basically after Spanish Grand Prix, I can show you. But what basically we did with our car was that we completely sacrificed any chance of having top speed in order to focus on purely a cornering ability, with slight gains to our brake cooling, our engine cooling, and our dirty air. And that is basically what allows us to, you know, do as well as we did. So you can do that, where you just, as I said, sacrifice top speed for anything but the rear wing. And that could potentially work out for you. But as I said, I'll do the next race here, and then we'll have a look at that. So yeah, we can go through that afterwards. I am tempted to get this design center upgraded here, but again, this is going to go into the cost cap. The boosts are pretty good though, let's be honest. It is going to be nice. What I'm thinking that we're going to do here is, yeah, we're going to do the design center because it's going to be worth it, but again, the car part test center, it's just sweet all around, so we'll be a little bit passive here. We'll do the car part test center. We might do this a little bit later on in the season, but honestly, your suspension sim and mainly your car part test center is just such a good thing to upgrade because it doesn't have an effect on your cost cap barely. So that is what we're going to do here. But if I'm getting my first point in Italy, yeah. Not finishing 5 and 6 has. That's pretty good. Everyone with multiple saves. I usually only focus on one save. Yeah. To be fair though, I think having multiple saves, particularly if I'm making videos, just running them alternating of each other, it's going to be a good thing for, you know, not getting too monotonous in terms of what I upload. So that's going to be good. Has crashed a lot, but they fight for points consistently. They should, honestly. They're not in a, you know, necessarily a negative starting position, so I wouldn't be too surprised. I believe we are fighting for potential wins here, so let's just say that we're going to finish one drive in top 5 races. Again, a little bit passive there, but it's better than nothing, and one drive on the podium. Q3 for both. And again, it's better to just say that you're going to get both up into Q3, sorry, than having one start on the front row, for instance. Why do I leave my HQ in poor condition? What do you mean the facilities here? The boardroom, hospitality area? It doesn't really have any too much of an effect on it. Again, it's basically just a money-saving measure. I don't save a ton of money on it either, but that's generally what it is. It's just a measure to try and save a little bit of money. We should probably actually upgrade the weather center here, because it is getting to that lower end, so we'll do that as well. For the development facilities, they do, as said here, deteriorate. But the deterioration isn't bad enough for me to value putting in money here at this moment. Like, the games would be nice, of course, to get this reinstated, but again, the value to me is better to just get an extra research project or two going rather than upgrading. That's why I leave it in poor condition. Driver development reserve still feels a bit buggy. Only still 10%. Yeah, that kind of works it. Hey, Deplexify. Career's going well, I think, honestly. I might finish 2nd and 4th. You can't play out. Yeah, that's kind of a negative there, Poconello. Can't plan strategy. Hulk on the podium, gonna take a few seasons at least, so relying on this lines of luck. So for me, I was lucky because I didn't have the money to produce parts. Yeah. Hello, Ninka. I think we're actually ready to go into Spanish Grand Prix. Sorry about that. Took a little while before we actually got there. Had to catch up on chat. A lot of actually good questions here. Alpha title race season 3. Just started season 2 with Alpha. Car's pretty bad, we'll work on it. Yeah, you should be good, honestly, Marco. I think you'll be fine. And honestly, the best way to actually play this game is in a way that makes it enjoyable for you. And we already have lost 2 gearboxes. Yeah, it's not. Okay, yeah. Gasly is going to be an expensive. No, sorry, Norris is actually going to be the expensive one this year. Damn. Again, it's been a bit of time here, so I'm really not caught up on my own McLaren save, which is kind of funny to say. But yeah, I'm gonna probably need a couple of races just to you know, get back into it. So apologies that I am a bit surprised at things here, honestly. For now, though, we are going to have a quick look at the, well, the advisor. And this year's edition, funnily enough, Spain is one of the tracks that I do worst at. So I wouldn't say that this is going to be, you know, huge victory, potentially, but we'll see. Just get the setups in here. But yeah, I have, honestly, I spent the morning today just getting a kind of a general understanding at this point, just a pretty easy general understanding of design and development video art, which I'm going to be releasing later tonight. It's currently processing by YouTube. It's not anything special, but it's just a general, you know, how design works, little tricks you can do, things like that. But I think it will be good. I think we are ready then to just sim through the practice here. There we are. Dynamo Season 3, yeah. Season 3 is podiums, should be fine. Hello, Noah. Hello, Athletic. 40 million left in your cost cap at Sandworth? Yeah, I'd say just go full on research then. Unless, of course, you are in a title race where you kind of need to improve your car more to keep that, you know, dream alive. I'd say just focus on research at that point, honestly. It should be more than, you know, acceptable enough, to put it that way. Let's do something like this, which probably isn't going to be, you know, super great, but should be good enough. And for Piastri, apparently we did make a mess of that, so we'll do it like that. Do 2 tags over, then 1 tag back. Yeah, this looks somewhat okay. Let's try that, see if that's better. Sim practice 2. We did 27, yeah. Again, it depends on your current position. Like, if you are secure in your position for the year, you don't think you can improve, you don't think you can pull down, it's honestly probably the best thing you can do at that point is just focus purely on research from that point forwards. Basically, even if you have 60 million left on your cost cap. I had 240 with Alpha before Las Vegas, but I exceeded the salary cap, so I trolled the kid. They will only become a crazy rocket ship once you optimize it. Fighting with the acid mindset. That's a really good Pokénaldo, honestly. So by a different creator that he swapped out one of his driver in the middle of the season and didn't swap like last year. The team he took a driver from signed themselves a different driver. Okay, that's good. Quali Imola, 2 red flags already. Even just getting through quali. Let me ask you this, Ed Stave. How are you looking in terms of your regulation changes? Are you going to be able to make them... Are you going to be able to cancel them out with your research at this stage? Or will you be losing out performance next year for that 5/5? Did the game already get updated? Unless they released something while I was at work, I don't think so. But that would be kind of funny and would definitely be something that I do in terms of missing the release of an update. That would not be too surprising. So yeah, it could be an update, but honestly, I don't know. Let's be honest here. Let's see, 2 down is probably better. See, this should be it, maybe. Potentially. Let's go with that. We'll get through practice 3. Is there any point? No. Currently, BT, the sliders for research are bugged, meaning that no matter how you move them, as soon as you start a project, they're all just going to revert back to as if they were in the middle and give you basically equal gains across your entire research. Which means that you're going to have to focus a bit more research to actually catch up with regulation changes. I do enjoy this, yes, driving a bit more, yeah. Just wondering, but on YouTube, qualifying I see cars going out at the same time. Will they avoid traffic? But in line, the cars go out at very different times. Difficult to avoid traffic. Are you struggling with avoiding traffic, aren't you? Yeah, if you get a 30 expertise loss on particularly your cornering ability, you definitely need to make that up. Because that could be enough to have you fight for wins starting already next season, pretty early. So keep that in mind. It might be that you have to kind of switch already. And I believe I said this in the recent video, but Mike Takumi, who's actually testing a lot of things with this game, figured out that this year they have really nerfed how hard you get hit from durability loss. So yellow engine, yellow ERS, and yellow gearbox, it's just about a 10 each in terms of lost lap time now. So it's not super negative to run one, but it's not great either. So, but you can do that now to actually save yourself some money. Rick has 20 more points than Hamilton. Try and make Bottas and show world champions, at least, right? Yeah. The thing is, actually, all cars go out at once. Could be that there's going to be a wet qualifying. But we'll have a look at the qualifying now, actually. And I'll have a look. Again, a lot of people are saying that doing the 2 blind laps is kind of cheesy. Kind of taking advantage of a glitch, so to speak. But it does give you far more reliable qualifying, in my opinion. And generally what I just do is just send them out immediately, and I will send them out for another mid-run if I have to. But towards the end, basically, these here are basically laps. So if you want to try and get a flying lap in, say before traffic gets bad, once we get in again, I'll have a little bit, show you a little bit more. But if you want to get a flying lap in before traffic gets bad, you should want to send them out about 2-3 laps before it is estimated traffic is going to get super horrible. So in this case, let's just wait for these boys to get in. In this case, as you can see, the estimated traffic is going to peak around here. So basically, well, these are actually by minutes, not laps, my bad. So basically about 16:15, everyone is going to be sending their cars out. So if you want to make sure that you can actually do a lap here, a lap is about 1:12, let's say they use 1:30 on the out lap. You'd want to send your cars probably out around 2.5 minutes before this to be absolutely certain that you will, for the most part, be running unmolested. So you can, of course, gamble to send your cars out at the back of the pack, but if you want to be kind of safe, let's say that we want to be safe here, we'd probably send our cars around here, just to make sure that we will be missing most of the traffic. But again, the easiest way to actually get kind of unmolested runs is just do 2 flying laps. It makes it a lot more reliable, and also you usually have a lot better qualifying times. So both of them kind of amplify each other. You should ask for Steve Diamantone on research. Yeah. Tsunoda is really good. Yeah, I agree. With the Leclerc, Gasly, Norris, or Russell would be too easy. The thing is, show starts with, I believe, lower pace stats. The main thing he has over Tsunoda is actually his control stat. So Tsunoda, you should be quicker, even if it's lower overall. Try 2 flying laps. Have you made sure, though, that you toggle off the cooldown laps? Because if you don't toggle off the cooldown laps, it's basically going to be them doing 1 flying lap, then a cooldown, and then another flying lap. And that lap is going to be slower because basically you're running that same first lap again on cooler tires, more warm tires, everything like that. So you want to do 2 flying laps back to back without a cooldown to make this work. That's generally how it's going to benefit you. We actually have an Italian here for Alfa Romeo release date. Nice. 2 of them. I don't know, Rick, honestly. I don't have any inside information from Frontier. We don't have any work together or anything like that, so I don't know. I know just as much as you do. I do, but they just don't seem to improve. I'm not sure why. Could just be, again, a little bit bad luck. But as you try a little bit more, you're probably going to get the timing down better, and that's going to help you out. But you can actually check if they are improving. Just going to lap history here. So for our case here, we improved by about 7/10 from our first lap to our second lap. And for Piastri, it's about 6/10. So on Barcelona here, it's working probably a little bit too well for us. But yeah, you can kind of check if it's working or not. But remember, keep in mind though, actually, that there is a bug currently that if you don't do this on, between Q3 to Q2, between Q2 to Q1, it will revert to just that 1 flying lap. So that might actually be a problem. But again, it's kind of hard to, you know, figure out what the issue is there. Did I give you the older tires? I did not, so let's just make sure that we have that going for both of you.
Track should be green.
Warm the tyres when you can.
Sign for my AlphaTauri save, Rick, for 1 year. Scouting every rebel and sign one for the next season. Not bad. What race did I win for the first time at McLaren? Bahrain, I think? Basically, we've been winning a lot of races this season, but I'm pretty sure it was Bahrain. Unless I'm mistaken. Team switching patch? Yeah, coming in September, so I would assume they have a major like balancing patch with it as well. The Avoid Harris curve trick is so good, yeah. That is probably the one that I would calculate, you know, will classify as pure cheese though. Because that one is definitely not working as intended. To be fair though, the cars aren't really working as intended in qualifying either. But they have acknowledged that and going to fix it. Yeah, I would assume that they will be fixing a lot of these kind of, you know, balance issues, so to speak. Things not working properly. Because the avoid high-risk curbs is weird for one, but also the always defend at Monaco being 1.5 seconds slower is kind of insane, honestly. Red flag in Miami, my drivers didn't pit yet. That is a W for sure, Poco. I would be very happy. Avoid high risk is basically Red Bull tire deck. Yeah. Very lost. What would I say is the more OP way of developing? If you have a look, Ahmad, at the start of the newest video, the Alfa Romeo one, it probably has the most OP way of, you know, developing your car from the get-go, because it makes your Alfa Romeo competitive by race 3, potentially. So, honestly, develop parts in tandem. Your suspension and your front wing, they should kind of complement each other. Make sure that they together increase your brake cooling and you're generally good. Your side pods and your chassis, the same thing. Make sure that they together improve your engine cooling and you should be good. And for the rear wing, DRS, of course, drag reduction, but also a little bit of airflow sensitivity to kind of help up with that dirty air. And for your underflow, just keep it balanced, and that will usually do most of it for you. Hello, Harry. Glad you liked my thumbnails. Been putting in a little bit more work at getting them to actually look decent. Still not happy with with a few of them, though. I probably need to put in a little bit more work in getting them better. 10th with Rick in the first race, thanks to this. The avoid high risk curbs thing. Yeah. I'll let you know, Harry. I appreciate that. I do feel like I'm kind of taking advantage of your help, though. So, but yeah, I do appreciate that for sure. Okay, let's start qualifying.
Track should be green.
The avoid high risk curve trick basically will, on some tracks, cut down your tire degradation by about 50%, meaning that you can potentially run a full set of hards from start to end if you were allowed to. So yeah, it can be pretty insane. Probably that you fall so far behind. Are you doing research, Ahmad? Because research is going to be pretty important for, you know, keeping up with the AI. Just managed control on my second lap, and for some reason my car's on conserved tires, fuel, and harvest the RS. Do you know where this is happening? That sounds like a, you know, very weird bug. Are you playing PC, Xbox, PS5? A little bit unsure which track to kit, but I know that on Bahrain it works immensely well. Generally, tracks where you can run a, say, harder compound without losing too much, it was going to be amazing on. But again, people have been kind of posting a lot of the tracks that it does work pretty good on in the comments of that video, so I'll probably have a look and kind of fix that, because it's a bit too cheesy for me, so I won't actually be testing it anymore. Won't probably be using it more. It's just funny. On Xbox One, okay. Austria could be really good, yeah. I would assume. Hello, Kenny. Thank you for joining. I appreciate your support. Can I just use it with Mercedes? No, basically with Mercedes, you can probably follow the same kind of development path I'm doing with Alfa Romeo, but I'm probably going to do that down the line as well. Because it's something people would actually like to see, I think. So I'm probably going to do that as well, honestly. It's so easy. Thank you, Harry. I appreciate that. If you do feel interested and kind of want to try and make another thumbnail, because you are really good at that, you could try and make a basically one for design and development, which doesn't tell you much, but I'm gonna be sitting down trying to make an easy one later on, but we'll see. Where do I get my setups? I believe I did update my description. I think I might not have. But if you look down in the description, you can find a cheat sheet for practice setups, and that should tell you everything you need to know about setting your setups for your cars. That should get that going. Then we'll point you. I'm hooked on the game, and you really help with design research stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Okay, so that was actually a pretty insane frontline there, because I think 4 cars are within a tenth of each other. Almost 5 cars stay within a tenth of each other. So this could be a fun little session here. Now, Piastri unfortunately couldn't really make up some place here. Did kind of fall off through all qualifying sessions, but if he had pulled this one here, 12:55, he'd be pretty strongly in front. So that is a little bit unfortunate for him. Just message me in Discord about it. I'll try 5 times. Thank you. Again, I appreciate that, Harry, a lot. Norris, what did you do? Why have you received a grid penalty, my man? The way the cheat sheet works, Pokonaldo, is that it gives you a good starting point for any driver. Like, you'll always be usually around 90 or above in terms of percentages, and then you just need to, through swimming the practices, just kind of try and find a good sweet spot. Generally, though, I never have a problem getting to, as you can see, a 95, 97. Well, let's just say above 90%. So generally, it's a starting point. It's not going to work for every driver, but it's basically just a starting point for your setups. It's starting to get annoying, but don't worry about it, Hamad. It's the most recent video on my channel, the Alfa Romeo one. It's basically going to take you to the upgrade path really early in the game, and it makes the Alfa Romeo with Bottas competitive by basically Australia. That's a bit of an older one, Marco. Honestly, it's probably better now if you run standard and specialize the pass like I did with Alfa Romeo. But it is kind of a guide, that one too, Hamad, to... again, it's when I started out, so it's kind of lacking at this stage, and that is why I'm kind of redoing it, and I'm going to have a new video on it later tonight. Because it does need a redo. It's... Basically, intense is good if you're Alpha Tauri, for instance, because you can do a round of intense before you start out. But for, say, Alfa Romeo, the other, if you have less money, it's not going to be great. So it depends a lot on your starting point, what is going to be the best one. Yeah, the old one isn't necessarily wrong in any case. It's just that there is a better way. It's still efficient, but there is a better way, by the way that I've found now. So again, it's not wrong by any means, but there are better ways of doing it. Okay, so Barcelona is actually a track with degradation. It's so high that we can't actually do anything, but we are getting rain, so this could be very interesting. Estimated lap 20-ish, or say 17, 18, when we're going to have to switch over. Can we run mediums on attack until that point is going to be my question here. mediums on attack. We can run them aggressive. We can potentially run them on attack. So I think we start on the mediums here. It will be quicker, potentially, in the long run. It's kind of hard to estimate, though, when you don't know exactly. But I think it will be the best option here to just start on the medium tires, and then we will run them probably aggressive and then attack for the last few laps. But we also have to be kind of careful here, because if we, well, overcook them, we're going to have a bad time. Yeah. I believe Hokonel, that set up like the website that calculates it, probably hasn't been updated yet for because some of the setups did change slightly. So it probably hasn't been updated with that, but it should still not be bad. Because I was mad thinking I spent 50 on the game, didn't know how to play. Honestly, don't worry, Hamad. This game is kind of more convoluted than last year's. More complex, so to speak, but it still has a very clear, decent upgrade paths. And once you start understanding how the game works, you're going to probably have a much better time. Hello, Jordan. I was used for Houston Tens with L5's eating canned tuna. Don't say that. It brings me back to my college, well, not college, uni days.
The stage is set. One of the oldest races on the Formula One calendar.
The days when you ate noodles, rice, and canned tuna.
It's lights out, and away we go.
Yeah, Spanish GP here. We're just going to toggle on the ERS balances. And a lot of the cars in top 10, everyone but Show is actually on the mediums. That is actually not too big of a surprise. And Piastri is being kind of already a little bit aggressive here, fighting Leclerc. So that is nice to see. Should help his confidence a tad. So yeah, pretty good start here for both our lads. Can Tuna be carrying meals? Yeah. It is pretty good, honestly. Rest is spraying in the game in the rain. It hasn't started raining yet, Stego. We're still on dries. It doesn't start raining until around lap 20-ish. So that would be why. We are going to tune down the tires now a little bit because, again, we kind of are going to have to. Just so we don't completely destroy these tires too soon. Stroll leading, unrealistic. Maybe. I'm 6 hours ahead of you? Yeah. Yeah, it's CFD and I'm telling you it equals a day of expertise gain. So they're actually really, really powerful in that. And particularly if you know, have less, have a higher wind tunnel allocation, you can basically get half a year's worth of expertise with each of those 6 periods. I mean, in the game, I drive a whole range. Okay. I don't know if it's something to do with settings, but I guess they tuned down spray. Didn't want to basically... To be fair though, for a game that's focused so much on, you know, the graphics, I'm not too surprised that they tuned down just how bad the spray is, so you can actually see your cars in wet conditions, to be fair. P4 Alonso, Stroll P1. Alonso is getting there though, he's probably going to be able to fight him in just a second. How did I keep Piastri? It was so bad for me. Half second lap by Norris. Piastri was pretty bad season 1. He still isn't great, but I'm basically keeping him as a kind of an experiment to look how development works. So that is the idea here. Norris gets Alonso. Pretty good. Piastri's still fighting the Ferrari. And in terms of the wet weather here, it's going to be a little bit delayed here. So it's going to start actually be into around lap 20. So yeah, we are probably doing a good thing here and not completely cooking these tires immediately, but we might need to actually tune Piastri down a little bit more because again, Norris has insane levels of smoothness, allowing him to do things other drivers can't. And because we are going to have a lot of rain, I'm perfectly fine with running down the fuel here to about even 2.5 kilograms deficit. Bug recorded live, who's in 18th? That would be Schumacher, honestly. Yeah, Mick has... Mick, for some reason, does not show up on timetables. Like, he won't show up on the table on left, but if you get the entire thing, it'll show up. It's gonna be 2,200 until the game gets good. I hope it won't be that much, honestly. Lando would be a good replacement for Bottas. Lando would probably be a good replacement for anyone, honestly. Piastri runs a little bit wide. That is unfortunate.
Okay, we don't want to lose too much time.
Because Lando's pretty young, and he has a pretty good growth rate. So I think he's actually the highest rated driver right now in Season 2, behind Verstappen. So his growth is actually pretty good. I wouldn't be too worried about that. I hope so too. I'll be like 214. Well, we're gonna need you know, immortality pills for that. Think Frontier sends another dirty. The thing with how Frontier said that they've done things is just straight up that they've used what they estimated to be their, you know, stats at the start of the season. So basically, what they thought a driver would perform like during preseason has basically been the, you know, the growth line for the stats. So AlphaTauri, the fact they're running AlphaTauri probably didn't do him any favors for his stats. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. They've done basically both Tsunoda and Piastri pretty dirty there. We're actually going to tune down the fuel usage now because we are getting to the point where we might have to save a little bit, even with all the rain we're getting yet. So yeah, we'll tune that down a tad. Piastri, I think we're fine with running them as they are right now.
There could be some light spots.
Because again, we are going to be running quite a few laps here. Even, you know, wet dries before it actually becomes wet. It's probably 5 or so more laps. Dinosaur is 20 and have 2 laps in first with 5-second penalty. I don't know, but there is some sort of weird like rocket ship bug for some drivers, so kind of funny. Are the voice lines in this game as repetitive as last game? Probably not, because as Frontier said, they've added about 3 to 4 times as much voice in terms of radios, driver messages, as they had for last year's game. There should be a lot more. Can a UK AlphaTauri be bought away if you manage AlphaTauri? What do you mean? Are you planning on selling him? I don't completely understand, honestly. Show 80, Tsunoda 79, yeah.
Okay, understood.
I wouldn't call this a lot of rain. It barely is going up right now.
Yeah, like that.
Piastri is not having a good time, and we're just gonna have to run him light here until we get
Let's get
to
back in the rhythm now.
you know, enough rain. We might actually just have to potentially have him go and explode a tire here. Is that a familiar sight? Williams running way behind. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. But I do like to save where they are actually fighting for points. Albon's taking a rest day. Did Norris just crash? Yeah, he did.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
What happened?
And there, the cars make contact.
Did we just damage the underfloor of that Aston? Because that's kind of what it looked like there. Okay, how are we going to deal with this then? We're still going to need to run a few laps here to...
I think the tires are done.
well, get into the kind of area. So for now, we're just going to keep... Again, once you hit 30% or below, you can get punctured. So we're just going to keep running like this for now. We're going to do the same with Norris. Should still just be a couple more laps until we get proper, you know, wet on the track. So we're going to have to hope that. Did they fix that one moment where you press something too quickly and the game crashes? I believe they have fixed that. I've generally had less crashes, but I've had more random crashes now during the races themselves. So I think they've fixed a lot of the problems, but not all of them. So yeah, they've made some progress there. Can you sell drivers? No, you can't sell them. I don't even think they can be poached. Honestly, we're just going to get on the inters here. We're kind of going to have to at this stage. It's still going to take a few laps before it's full inters, but we're gonna gamble here and just get both boys in. And I believe that Norris is, well, with Piastri pitting, he definitely is far enough ahead here that we don't need to be worrying. And actually, cars behind now have started pitting with us, so this could potentially be the Giga player. But of course, Norris is going to have problems because he has that penalty, so he's going to be slow from that. We do still get out of the head of the Ferraris. We actually retain our third place here, so I assume Stroll did actually change his front wing, I would think. It's either that or he has damage. But yeah, that is still acceptable. Leclerc does overtake us, and right now, Rick is still out there running 7th with all the tires, but this is potentially going to be a bit of an interesting race now. We are also going to have to pit again because of the degradation here. I don't think the other teams actively will try and hunt your drivers though, unless they probably had in the last year of the season. I'm still here for the next 10 minutes. Let's see the wrecking curse. It's still alive. That's actually what you do every night, every morning when you wake up. To be fair though, Norris didn't actually break anything. I think he broke his, well, his confidence. That's mainly it. So we'll have to see if we can regain that. Powertrain was pretty broken to begin with, so this isn't horrible. I'll be fine with it. When we thought Piastri was bad, Norris wanted to reclaim his seat. Yeah, basically. Last lap, P3 at Imola with Bottas season 2. Bottas has 2 podiums now. Congrats, PT. That's pretty good. Watch the beginning of the Alpha vid and copy to you. Would you recommend doing the same for every new part? Potentially, yes. But again, what you want to balance is your cooling and your dirty air to your kind of cornering. And what I mean by this is you kind of want to increase both of them, but once you start hitting about 50 to 60% on your cooling and your dirty air, you can start focusing even more into cornering, kind of get back that little bit of top speed. So you can't keep on doing what was basically the upgrade path early in that. Yeah, actually can't actually run aggressive here. Probably neither can Norris then. This is bad. Let's see if we can get Norris by so he doesn't cook his tires too much. Ferrari is a tad too quick for us. Give you a little bit of extra fuel to get that done. But yeah, you can do that, Hamad. It will still be a pretty decent strategy for upgrading your car. If I weren't experimenting with Piastri, yeah, probably, unfortunately. His stats in the game doesn't reflect his stats in reality. And the fact that we're having this much problem getting by Leclerc does scare me here. Because we kind of need to try and get by, just so that we don't completely break our tires, but looks like we won't have any luck here. This is doing the same thing you said in your guide, but I'm losing time each month. Any idea what's happening? If you're losing time each month, so you just aren't running, you're not putting them in the gym, Jasper. Once you reach a cap, you can stop doing the gym, but you'll still have a degradation in time over time, which means that if you hit the cap, after you hit the cap, times will still degrade, but basically you can work beyond the cap in terms of the pit stop time, but your pit stops are going to be capped at a time, and it's still going to degrade over time. I know I'm dumb, I'm not making too much sense, which means that you are still going to have moments where you're going to have to put in a couple of gym sessions to make sure that you keep where you're at. Basically, if you're losing pit stop time from your calendar, you're going to have to put in a couple of well, extra gym sessions. That's basically it. I played Alpha and almost got fired. Yes, man, you saved me 50. I began to accept the fact that I spent money and didn't know anything. Honestly, though, Ahmad, you don't need to worry. You'll probably learn a lot more as you play. Might say Piastri crashing every race. Yeah, that was kind of my experience too, but he's been getting better. Now my experience is that Norris really don't want to win this championship. What did I explain? It's a game worth getting. I have this 22 version with 23 mod. I want it, but it's 60 quid. It is an upgrade for sure. If you really enjoy 22, you're probably going to enjoy 23 a lot too. So honestly, it's up to you. I enjoyed this game, so I'd probably say it's good. But at the same time, there are some glaring problems and bugs that you are going to have to kind of deal with. So you could wait for September, see if they get, you know, when the stream switching patch releases, which probably will have I would hope, some balance changes, some, you know, bug fixes, and see if you like it then. Probably going to come with a discount as well. So you can try and hold out until then, but if you really like 22, you're probably going to like this as well. Probably a lot more. So that is my take on that. Any idea for a different team? Finding Merc very challenging to get anyone near P2 in constructors. What are you looking for? Are you looking for that a bit of a challenge? Because Williams can be pretty fun. Alpha Tower is pretty fun for me. A lot of teams can be really fun. I do not have Bashir as my reserve. Kenny, I don't think so. We have a Shaw. Yeah, we have a Shaw. Yeah, Williams, McLaren, Haas are actually good choices. How much am I paying Lando? I'm paying him exactly how much the game was paying him when I started playing. So I'll have to check after the race in that case. Honestly, adding a difficulty slider would be nice, but I don't think they're going to do that, unfortunately. Doesn't seem like something they would be interested in doing. Now we're going to move both our boys here up to attack, and we are going to be pitting fairly soon. I think that is going to be our best chance of actually passing Leclerc, because Norris' confidence is so low that his stats are low for one, but he's just not getting that overtake done. So we're just going to go a little bit aggressive. I say as Leclerc actually just straight up undercuts us when I say that, because he, well, saw that one coming. But yeah, that is a bit of a loss there. Unfortunately, Piastri wasn't close enough where he could cause some problems. But yeah, as you say, difficulty slider would be nice, but I don't think it's something that is high up on the priority. Probably not something that is going to be added. Norris has no chance of even getting out ahead of Stroll there. Yeah, Stroll actually ended up undercutting us too. But Sainz could potentially hold him up here, which would help us out a ton. So we'll see exactly what we can do here. Confidence being lost constantly. We are gonna get Piastri in now for his pitches up too, before I forget. Should be around 40 million, maybe even more. Lando do cost a lot, yeah. Easy mode Red Bull? Yeah, honestly. I think actually the team you pick is difficulty slider this year, interestingly enough. It's probably the same for last year too, to be fair. But there's no other way to actually look at what is the difficulty, you know, slider for this. Now, the question that we're going to have to ask ourselves now, are we going to go high on overtake aggression and, you know, try and get away, bully our way past these boys now? Because Sainz is kind of held him up for half a second there. So I think we're going to recharge and we're going to try and bully our way past with high aggression, which could backfire horribly, but it is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. Let's also see if we can get Piastri past Magnussen. Piastri got the move done. That is sweet. I do need to get him down to standard though before he immediately cooks these tires into the ground. Yeah, honestly, as Edson says, picking a higher rated team to learn the game is not a bad idea.
Turn recharge off if you want to.
Yeah, all good.
Games like this, I prefer watching people play than playing myself. That's fair, honestly, Keith. Honestly, again, everyone has different preferences. Driver regression will be dependent on performance, but also age. So if your driver is old, you're gonna have regressions as you go. Why is there no sizable sponsor on McLaren? I believe there's a lack of, basically, they could make it work with the sponsor in reality, but there are mods where you can actually fix that. Best engine is honestly, again, a guy called Mike Takumi did a lot of testing on this. And
Although science has pitted.
can we? Yeah, we got science at least. And generally, Ferrari, Red Bull, and interesting enough, Renault engines are kind of equal in their performance over the course of a race. And the worst engine is the Mercedes one. So you can pick Red Bull, you can pick Ferrari, you're generally going to be good. I still, you know, worry about the Red Bull engine for last year. But actually, every engine is kind of balanced this year around. So you're not missing out, but I'd probably pick Red Bull mainly because of the acceleration advantage. High tire times will lead to slower lap times, yes, but running aggressive here will get you, basically give you more time than you lose by, say, running it. So running higher tire temps is okay as long as you don't run them high enough where you get extra degradation on your tires from, well, cooking them too much. So high tire temps, bad, but you can make it, you know, kind of worth it. Again, it's just basically management, don't run them too high. There we go, Norris finally gets an overtake done, and we're gonna have to tune him down here again because, again, heat, pretty bad. As you can see, you can actually see it now that we have that drop in degradation when we started pushing way more aggressively. And for these tires, the maximum is 105, we're running 110, which is probably not the best thing we could do here. Probably want to cool them down immediately. And Stroll just actually gets revenge as a result because we have a bit lower top speed. So yeah, not a good race for us here. Is the Red Bull cost cap penalty in the game? Yes, they have less CFD and wind tunnel time. Lando's going to be a Sauber driver? Nice. Alpha K restarted first race 10 and 11. Wonderful. That's a pretty good start, honestly. Do I know if Alpha changes to Audi in the game? I don't think that's implemented, Jasper. Honestly. They will not change as far as I know. I haven't seen anything on the Reddit about it. I haven't seen anything on Discord about it. So I'm pretty sure that just isn't implemented. See if we can give Piastri that little bit of a boost he needs to get by Russell here. For Norris again, he is having a pretty bad time. Not much we can do. Paris is also coming at us, so yeah, we're kind of in a kind of shitty spot here, honestly. They pushed the tires a little bit too hard to get that overtake done, and then it didn't even kind of, you know, work out for us, so a bit of a shame. My work here is done. Might be back later, but I'm gonna pop out and do some things. See you all later. See you later, Edster. Have a good one. Will I be playing as Mercedes? Probably at one point. Mercedes is, again, one of those more difficult ones because the ball wants you to finish second. So I'm probably going to make a Mercedes playthrough at one point, kind of similar to the one that I'm currently doing with Alfa Romeo. And for the Alfa Romeo side, we're probably going to do at least one season. And then maybe switch it over to trying to win with a fully Italian team, maybe. We'll see. Might just do those two, because I was planning to do a playthrough with Alpha where we do a kind of Italian resurgence. So we might just put those two in one if the Alpha gameplay goes well. One really good talent I scouted is Solo, 16 years, 57 rated. Insane talent. Yeah. Problem with this is that you kind of need to get him hired. Get him hired, Nico. It's so tough to not get fired. Yeah, it could be, honestly. Merc is going to be kind of, you know, merciless. That's not really a big surprise. Now, running aggressive, these tires are basically going to hit about 30% at the end. So we have a choice here. Either we go full attack now, sacrifice them completely, risk a puncture, but maybe get an overtake done. And honestly, I think we're going to do that. We're going to full send it, as the children say. And we're going to do the same for Piastri, just go full attack, see if we can get him by Russell. So yeah, Spain, not really a good track, honestly, for the player. The AI seems to have pretty good control over how to, you know, do this track. Degradation is high, which is going to mostly be negative for the player in this case. And yeah, this just isn't working for Norris at all. Yeah, can make them sour with mods, as BT says. Won the drive championship with Hamilton first season with Mercedes. That's pretty good, Junara, honestly. That's well done. Runs pretty well on Xbox. 9th, 10th, 11th of them like yours. Yeah. Only discovered the channel today and a massive fan. Thank you, Ahmad. Glad you enjoy. What team do I support in real life? I saw that question earlier. Sorry, I kind of forgot. I am, as I've said earlier, a bit of a fanboy that switches around. I'm a big fan of people who, you know, do well. But honestly, probably kind of Red Bull fan for the Vettel days. Honestly. But right now, it's I'm mostly focused on Piastri. He's doing really well. He's potentially one of those generational talents, like potentially Verstappen. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to develop and what he potentially is going to be up to.
Is everything okay? I'll come back.
Okay, looks like we didn't have the best race here. An 8th and a
Good job,
6th place, but we'll take that.
So that's
Still a lot
P6.
of season to go.
Good point.
What does driving in clean air do? The idea with driving in clean air is that you drive in colder air. So it cools down your engine mainly, and it also cools down your tires. So you basically pull out from the slipstream. It cools your engine more, it cools your tires more, and generally you just have less tire wear, less engine wear as a result. So that is the idea. You're going to be a bit slower because you're not in the slipstream. So yeah, that is the general idea. Do I watch football? I used to. When I was younger, I played a lot of football, but my knees didn't agree with that. So kind of fell off that, got more into motorsport. So I don't really watch football much anymore, unfortunately, Harry. Piastri reminds me of Kimi. Yeah, that's not wrong. We did fail our finish position here and the finish position streak, so honestly, this lost us 800,000 in, well, 600 sponsors, 225 from drivers. That's not good. What talent Piastri is? Yeah. Thing is, he is looking pretty good so far, and if he just can keep it up, he's gonna have a pretty potentially insane career. We're not gonna use this railing. We're gonna just make 2 more of this one. I think at least 1 more. Inspection failed. The rear wing, we're gonna have to replace it. The underfloor, we'll replace that. We're also gonna have a look at what we actually, you know, have in order here. Manufacture a new one. Because I think we are being a little bit here into the... Let's get 2 more of these going. I think we are focusing a bit on research here because everything is getting hit by regulations next year. So it's not a bad idea. We'll probably make another chassis as well. There we go. I probably told myself that I would check that before I started the stream last time around, but of course I didn't. So we're kind of behind on parts now. But that should still be okay. Rear wing underfloor failed, but that's also fine, as I said. Hello, Jack. I'm good. We are checking, yeah. This is live, Dan. Glad to hear that. Do I ever use driving clean air, or is it useless? It's not necessarily useless. It can be really good for actually passing cars when they are running, say, you're running a inter or a wet tire and they're running dry in the wet. It can be really good. But generally, running clean air is something you'll be using a lot. So it can be a situation useful, but not really something you'll be using a lot of the time. Won the driver championship with Verstappen, pit stop championship. You did as expected, Blake. Well done. We are checking, yeah. Yeah, I'm good, Jack. Sorry. I'm going a little bit up and down to see where I actually lost track of chat last time. Want to play football? Found out that I have some heart condition that easily makes it tired, so I couldn't. Yeah, I have a friend who had that. That sucked for him, so... He still was kind of, you know, determined though, so he ended up basically training himself to be a goalkeeper. And even that was kind of risky, according to doctors, so yeah. Man was wild in his younger days. Dan, about starting research, honestly, the best time is when you can make sure that you actually get the regulation changes caught up with. So starting early is generally a good idea. But if you look at it from a financial perspective, starting research when this number here hits about 40-30% is usually good enough. Or when you can't improve in the championship fight, it's probably a good idea to just focus on the research for next year. Yeah, driving clean air with DRS can help overtake potentially, yeah, as well. When would I advise using wind tunnel research? Again, it's the same thing there, Dan. When you kind of can't progress anymore with making parts and you kind of have to do research, probably use it then. As Red Bull, I assume is what you want to write there. If I'm tired, powertrains die a lot. Any advice? Increase your engine cooling. Your engine cooling has an effect on powertrain degradation. Higher engine cooling, the slower they will degrade. Just support Arsenal. So they have the Norwegian mace for the god. Yeah. If you want to go that path, you can also go for Holland. But yeah, I have a lot of friends who are Arsenal fans, so that is not a big surprise. Don't worry, Dan. I'll try and respond to any questions here. It just takes a while because I'll get focused on the game for a couple of minutes, and then the chat will move a lot quicker than I expect. So don't worry about it. And if I miss your question, I promise it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's actually because I just straight up missed it. So don't be worried about that. Now, I did say that we were going to look a little bit about how you can make some of the parts the last time around. So actually, we have suspension, we have side pods and rear wing available to us. And the way that I would usually just make my rear wings here now is probably something like this, where we don't focus on the cornering ability of your rear wing at all, because you basically aren't going to get much out of it for that. Now, in this case, you kind of want your dirty air tolerance to be about, as I said, 50 to 60. 60% is a good point. From 60 to about 80, you don't really gain much. So getting this maybe about to 60, 70% should be about your cap. Then you can start focusing back on other stats. And generally, I think this would actually be pretty decent. You can, of course, try and make a rear wing that is focused on, say, high-speed cornering. But honestly, I don't find it worth it. So for your rear wing, particularly early game, this is probably what I would go for. Drag reduction, DRS delta, and airflow sensitivity. Because again, your cornering ability for your rear wing isn't going to be that great. And for your side pod, again, we'd probably do something like this. Minimum lifespan, maximum engine cooling, and airflow middle. This will give us a side pod that has a high amount of engine cooling, which is always nice, but it also gives you a massive amount of high-speed cornering. And as you can see, this is compared to our current side pod. So even this would actually be a massive upgrade from what we currently have. And your side pod is going to be a huge source of that high-speed and potentially medium-speed cornering, but it's also going to be a best source of engine cooling. So this is probably how I would make an early game side pod as well. And honestly, it's the same for the chassis, but there you can actually sacrifice a little bit of cooling and get a chassis that could potentially give you 0.1 right here G's worth of high speed. So it's going to be really good for that. Now, your suspension is kind of a funny one because it's actually really good for lower speed cornering and brake cooling. So making something like this could definitely be worth it. Now, I already have made a suspension, so it's not really going to be showing too good. But it will still give you a decent amount of, as you can see here, low speed cornering. It'll give you a little bit of brake cooling. And generally, this would be a good slider disposition for this. Again, top speed isn't that valuable in this game. Your cornering ability is going to be way more important. So that is how I would do it. Did my research start first seasons? What do you reckon I do for second season? How I hold my money so well when I'm still in good? It's because I have started using less intense. I barely use intense at all now. Because, well, very early on in your save, probably the first round of design, it can be really, really useful. But after that, you kind of just don't want to do it. And I know that I kind of broke this rule for the latest one, but for manufacturing, unless you really have to, don't use rushed, don't use emergency. They're really expensive. So yeah, that is basically it, honestly. Didn't do much. Yeah, goalkeeper doesn't really use a lot of stamina. Yeah, that's basically why he decided to do that. Popping out for a bit. How long am I streaming? Probably for maximum 2 more hours. Probably going to do one more race and then I'm going to have to go because I do need to go to the store and make dinner. And then I'm going to, as I said, finish that design guide for tonight. Get that done. And again, it's just a general guide. It's nothing too in-depth. How's the game this year? Rubbish Definition Gaming. What a name. I'm enjoying it a lot. It does have its flaws still, so they probably are going to still have to put in a little bit more work in terms of kind of patching that. But it does have its moments, for sure. We're actually going to put this into, I think, the side pods. Maybe not. Maybe the suspension. I think honestly putting in suspension is not a bad idea. So we're going to put our safety and going to allow us into suspension for next year. And it's not going to be a huge boost here if you have a look on the right side. But it's going to help us out a little bit here on a lot of things. So that's fine. And again, can't really move the sliders, doesn't really matter. But once they actually patch this, keep in mind that moving every slider to the right, like this, is going to be worth it. Because it gives you an extra 10% expertise on every one of these. So that is kind of funny. And that's probably why the sliders are kind of bugged in the middle. Because if you, as I said, let's see, it's 749 here now. If we move every single slider to the middle, we should get like 8. Yeah. We get a little bit of an increase here. So every slider to the right is just about a 10% increase in stats. Once they patch that. But again, it's not working. So even if I do this, the sliders will just revert to the middle. But we'll do that for the suspension this time around. Okay. Research is complete though. Chassis. And we're just going to do another research virtually immediately. This time we're going to research the rear wing. And we're just going to get that done with 1 because that is the most efficient way of doing it. So we're going to see how far this car can take us this year. We're not going to get any more upgrades most likely. And I'm looking forward to how we're looking at the end of the season. But yeah. Game is good. It has its kind of bugs, but it's definitely a lot more complex. The rebalances to development are nice, so I enjoyed it a lot. Odegaard is better than Haaland, by the way. To be honest, yeah. Well, I'm in debt because of Lando. That is gonna probably get you fired, BT. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the board don't care if you crash out last into each other 5 races in a row. But you get death on your... Again, you get into death, and they're just going to try and, you know, hunt you down straight up. Canada got 5th with Norris. Best result. It was raining. Keep up curves. Let it drop 10 degrees. Yeah. Paris and Verstappen say no. That is a strong no, though. You can't really do anything about that. Lazarus. Sergeant destroyed all of his engines, ERS, and gearboxes by crashing and put us 50 million debt. That is painful. Like... But yeah, definitely really bad. It's better running with actually basically a broken car instead. Trying to get good in low speed and mid, as I said last stream. Was 3rd in high speed, but like 10th in low speed. Don't want to lose too much in high speed. Also, any tips of keeping it close? Basically, your best source of low speed cornering is, of course, going to be your front wing. But also, interestingly enough, your suspension. Your suspension is going to be a great source of that low speed cornering ability. So make sure that you make a low speed cornering suspension. I can't really show you right now because we have, well, I can't actually show you even then because we are doing a research project for that suspension. But basically your suspension, you want to max your front airflow sensitivity, you want to max your brake cooling, and you want to max your low speed cornering, and that'll do it for you. I'm surprised, BT, because the boards in this game hate deaths more than the devil. Like, they literally chase you to the ends of the earth if you end up in death. So that is that's impressive that they haven't, you know, chased you down already. Okay, let's see if we can get the training set up here. What exactly is going on? And this seems a little bit buggy. There we go. Finally, you hit tied. Okay. And again, the reason why we're doing car building here is because literally we can't race anything else. Everything else is maxed. So there is no point. And they're still just tired, so yeah, I am impressed at their stamina. There we go. That, I think, should be it. We actually put in one too many. There we go. This should bring us even closer to the maximum stats, which is going to be good. My season kept destroying engines, gearbox, ERS, and Magnuser. Ugh, I have hiccups, sorry. crashing every weekend. Rob, the control rating there is due to a sponsorship, honestly. You can actually check that before races if it is affecting him this race, and then tune him down in terms of taking risks. Let's say I'm actually going to show you how that works, but it's a sponsorship that really, really hits you hard, yeah. No, the control drops from, when control drops by like 30, between 20 and 30 points, it is a sponsorship. And I don't have it here, but it's basically a sponsorship that will straight up tell you that, oh, your driver's control rating will drop for, say, potentially even 20 races a season, and you get paid basically nothing for it. So it's basically just a nerf, well, a pretty hard demerit. Hulkenberg's starting to be really good. He's literally consistently in points. That's really good. Yeah, Nick, if you should check your sponsorships. In AlphaTauri, you start with this for Tsunoda, which is why he will, for 5 races a season, kind of become a liability. And again, it does, the control stat just gets tuned down to about 50, and it just makes your driver so much more liable to get damage. And in AlphaTauri, you get 400,000 for doing that for 5 races, which means that you're most likely going to end up going negative as a result. So yeah, it is kind of annoying to say the least. Any tips for engine wear? Basically your engine cooling. Other than that, it's just kind of try and run in clean air and not push your engine too hard. Kind of making it fun in a sense because I can't upgrade the car, so it's more challenging. But every week, constantly trying not to go into death. Yeah. You really, really need to just sacrifice emergency parts. You basically are going to have to, unless you really don't have an extra part, just don't do that. Use worse parts. Cooling for engines, yeah, for engine work, Jack. I don't have the game yet, hopefully soon though. Yeah, that's fair. Again, the thing with the sponsorships though is it was the same last year, but the the negative part of crashing last year wasn't as high as this year. So the sponsorship was bad then, but it's actually straight up horrible now. So yeah, keep that in mind. Underfloor, we're gonna run one more underfloor here for sure, because I don't think we have caught up to the technical changes yet. We'll have a look at the board, I guess, see where we're at. The board loves me, but I don't think we have an update here on what we have researched so far, and we don't. So there are 2 ways you can actually force an update. The first one is either reload your save, or the second one is just do a race. So yeah, you still have the stats there even if they don't show up in the boardroom. Okay, so let's say you have that sponsorship that lowers your control. You can actually check on this state. You basically just go to your driver, you have a look, and if the control is close to 50, you're getting hit this weekend. So it actually drops on the start of the weekend, and then it gets reinstated at the end of the weekend, which means that sometimes you will be seeing on your, driver progression reports that, oh, your driver lost 20, 30 points of control. So keep that in mind. Also, do I ever emergency parts because the inspection keeps failing me? No, if I run out of, as I said, let's say, take a hypothetical here. If I run out of, say, if I run out of this chassis due to failing, crashing, or whatever, if I can't make new chassis in time, I'll probably use this one instead. Even though, as you see, it's a massive drop in performance, it's probably going to be worth it to sacrifice performance for a race rather than emergency manufacture, because it is incredibly expensive for this game. Now, I know that I'm saying that while also emergency manufacturing, rushing things for the Alfa Romeo save. That's more of a one-off, where I was trying to see how quickly can we get Bottas into the points. So I'm probably not going to do too much of that there either anymore, to be fair. Second race, 12th and 13th. That's acceptable for sure, Athletic. On 22, staying off the curves doesn't work as well as 23. Yeah. They need to reduce all the crashing from 100 to 30. I think last race, once they rebalance at some point, because I think they're just going to have to, once they at some point rebalance the confidence, make it probably a little bit more rigid, I think we're going to see a lot less crashes. Because what is happening for the most part is that once one driver crashes, and unless both of them, you know, crash out of the race, their confidence plummets to the bottom, and then they too become basically, as I say, a ticking time bomb. They take out someone else, and basically it just spreads like a disease. And by the end of the race, every car is kind of lying in a ditch somewhere. So yeah. Thank you for reminding me, William. Hello. You came in the perfect time here to get him a FP1, because I do still forget that. And I keep on saying that I should give myself a post-it note, but it's actually through. I should. Came out be crashing every race, bro? Yeah.
Formula One has arrived.
The confidence system needs a little bit of balancing. Like a sponsorship money per race is rough. It can be. Yeah, it can be for sure. Can I run critical orange powertrain? Yeah, you can run them in practice, don't worry. That's fine. No, they do not cause any damage to the powertrain parts if they fail fully. And honestly, they will not fail unless they hit 0%. So even if you do it manually, as long as these do not hit 0%, you are still perfectly fine to just run them in practice. Would not be a concern at all. Feel free to run them into, as I said, until they completely break. And it's basically the best way to say wear on your main parts. Watching streams of his while taking notes on my phone. Last year I really struggled. That's fair. You're doing it full learning before you get the game. I ran orange parts and they broke. If they hit 0%, you are gonna, you know, be out of the race because the parts just straight up no longer working. Why have I not made version 3 and 4 of that part? Which one, Josh? They did say a lot of that, yeah, but it's just when does that balancing patch hit? You thinking the underfloor? Random one by Messi or Ronaldo? I honestly don't know, to be fair. At this point, they're both getting kind of old. K-Man got so much potential, but McLaren didn't trust me, yeah. Jack, the thing is, research is bugged. You probably are going to want to put everything to the right once they fix it. But at the current state, the research is bugged in such a way that it will just revert to balance the second you launch it. So, can't really do anything about it right now. The Rivella 1 F2, he disappeared from the game. That sounds like a bug, Jasper, honestly. I thought the same for Pacher, but I found him on Ferrari at one point. Finished my first season in P6 with 78 points, and only got one podium all season. That is pretty good, Jordan, honestly. That's well done. Do I use many engineers, or do I just use one per design and research? For research, I'll be using basically just one, because we want to keep that going for as long as possible, because of the basically get more out of our money for that in terms of expertise. For the science, I'll be moving engineers around to get things done for particular races, so it depends on what I'm trying to do. If I need to get something done for a particular race, I'll move them around, no problem. If I need to, say, you know, if I'm trying to do research for next year, I'll try as much as possible to keep just one engineer on. But if I need to put more on to, say, do an extra project in December, I will for sure. It's basically just a balancing act. There we go. I think that is the setup, and we'll just simulate the practice. The drivers just keep saying something is wrong. Yeah, basically they say that the parts are breaking and whatnot, but in reality it's fine because practice isn't performance-based, so you can run them to, as I said, the absolute ground. Just make sure you do it in practice and not quali and the race, and you'll be okay. Taking time bombs, Baku season 1 in my career with McLaren was mad. Sprint had 8 retirements. Yeah. Baku is usually pretty insane on the first season because everyone has really low brake cooling, which induces lockups, which induces, you know, crashes because people are running so close to each other. There is no any online mode, Bebe, unfortunately. Yeah, yellow orange parts at Lazarus again are fine for practice. Just run them until they hit 0. The underfloor. The thing with the underfloor, if we have a quick look here, is that it's already really good. I can't actually have a look at the stats, but the underfloor has already hit about 80% expertise, well, close to 80% expertise, and it really starts slowing down then in terms of progression. So what I'm basically doing now is focusing on the other parts to catch up. So the underfloor has reached basically very close to the ceiling. Even if we invest more into it, it won't really improve much. So we're focusing the other pieces to catch up before we, you know, put anything more into there. What do I do when the parts reach 0 on the wear? I don't use them no more. They're basically broken. And on that weighing, you might not want to use anything that is below, say, 3 or 4%, unless you simming practice. If you do practice manually, anything 3 or 4% can break during that practice, and it's basically gonna, you know, just eat you out of said practice. So keep that in mind. Might need to, of course, change things around as you go. But generally, as I said, just make sure that you understand that some parts are going to be breaking. Canton and Sindan are the best. MMA fight is doing well in soccer. Yes, basically once you get to 60% energy cooling, you should be good, to be fair. The alphas keep taking each other out in my save. They have taken each other out twice in 5 races. That is usually how it ends up being when people, well, when drivers start further back. Less confidence, they keep on basically assassinating each other as a result because they have the same kind of cars. And that kind of, you know, causes mayhem over and over again, unfortunately. There's so many mistakes with R22. Didn't know I did wrong. Yeah. It's kind of the thing with this game, though. It's kind of hard to know exactly what you did wrong. It's just straight up requires a bit of experimentation, so I'm not too surprised there. Let's do this. Get it a little bit further that way. Honestly, that's probably better. Well, we'll figure out a okay setup, so I'm not too worried. I forgot. Yeah, I did forget. Oh, sorry, William. I actually do just straight up need a big button because I get distracted by chat. Hamilton should be 89, Sainz 89, Leclerc 88. That's overrated. Leclerc generally does beat out Sainz, so that's the thing. Although Ferrari do help him out a bit. They need to fix the AI and quality? Yeah, they need to just to get that done. And again, William, I'm sorry. Hello, Kai. I'm trying to catch up trying to catch up with the chat. It's just moving a bit too quick for me right now. Been putting my worst parts from early in the season on in practice to save the lifespan new design parts, swap them for Q. Honestly, it's a good idea. It's an extra step of micromanagement in terms of using, you know, lower parts for the lifespan. It's not a terrible idea, Tony. It's just a lot of extra clicking. So if it's worth it or not, will be up to you. But if you're running low on money, it's definitely a good idea. At least in my game, Norris 100%. We'll have a look and see if it's generally the same here. But yeah, I will be, when I go to the shop today, I will be buying post-it notes. And we'll buy a new ERS and we'll just take it. I'll be buying post-it notes and I'll be slapping, you know, remember you have a reserve driver just around my monitor. So yeah, sorry about that. I know that it does sound like I'm not, you know, caring or not genuine, but honestly, it is straight up just that I'm forgetting, and it's embarrassing at this point. Smoothness does really affect tire temps per se, Jordan, but the way the smoothness works is that because of the less drain on the tire durability, because of high smoothness, you can run them at hotter temperatures without no problems. AI is too OP in the start of a race. They do push everything they have, though. That is the thing. That is why they are very OP at the start of a race. Let's see. This does seem to almost be an optimal here. This is probably 1 for me. So 15, 1. I think this might be 100%. We're a little bit off here, but that should still be okay. So we'll go with that. And again, you can tweak your setup before quality. Don't be afraid of doing that. It'll update before the race. But again, you're gonna have to try and make sure that you get it correctly. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, mainly because the AI is pushing everything: tires, fuel, ERS to the absolute limit for the first 2 laps. They are very, very quick. I will, as said, William, I'll probably be doing this one, then I'm going to have to go to the store. And I'll be buying some post-it notes so I can make sure that I remember to put the show in. Second on low speed, 5th on mid, 4th on high. 20th on engine cooling, 6th on brake cooling. You saw that, yeah. To be fair though, the AI do focus brake and engine cooling a little bit too much, so Jack, as long as you're about 50-60% of both of those, well, 60 or above is actually pretty good, you'll be fine. Why do I want to create 4 different types of rear wing in my Alfa Romeo career? The reason why I want to create a lot of rear wings is because it is the only source of DRS efficiency. So by making a lot of rear wings, we're going to be increasing our, well, we're going to be increasing, of course, our expertise across the entire rear wing. It's just how design works. It distributes the expertise equally, but it is the only way that we can, within our first season, improve our rear wing DRS, and the only way to do that is by making more rear wings. That's probably going to be making a lot of them, Sam. Because, again, DRS effectiveness is going to be kind of key for us to get overtakes done, because we don't have a lot of top speed. So we need to take that little bit of an advantage that we can get under DRS to get more top speed, and also get, you know, a little bit better chance from that.
Copy.
Is it going to be dry towards the end? It is. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of a silly billy here. Only reason why I use my third driver is because he's Norwegian. I wanted to get good, and then I can use him in the second car. AI only uses 1 set of tires. Yeah, they will sometimes just use, you know, 3 sets of softs in a race, and they won't get a penalty. It's a bug, unfortunately. Do I always put minimum distance? I assume you mean durability. I do, Pedro. The gain from putting minimum durability far outweighs any extra cost for manufacturing more parts, I feel. Hello, Dark. Mercedes just dropped their mid-season review. Might need to have a look at that later on. But yeah, that's right. The AI will pull soft, or soft, for instance, and it is gonna cost. Well, it is not within the rules, but if the AI does it, so can you. Just make sure that you do that in the races that the AI does. Interestingly enough. Gonna start saving money and try to upgrade the facilities. Again, probably would recommend doing, again, the race sim, the team hub, and your helipad first, and then probably your car part test center. Any setup before quality changes the confidence, but it's usually fine, as you can see. We do basically warm-up runs that kind of cancels that out. Alex, I'm fine with it. You can use sauce at 8mm. Yeah, the thing is, we should be okay here, because it is going to be completely dry for the last couple of minutes. So what we're actually going to do here is be sending out our boys pretty soon. We're probably going to have to send them out around the 4-minute mark, so that they get 2 flyers before the end here. And some are still in inters, some are ready to get sent out. Did I actually not change the tire for? Okay, there we go. Good thing that I noticed that. But yeah, we're going to be sending out around the 4-minute mark here, mainly just so that we can try and get 2 runs in, and that should be okay. So send 1 out, send 2 out. Why is an Alpha without driver? There is a driver there, it's Mick Schumacher, but for some reason he has decided that he has active cloaking technology, and you're not allowed to see what he does. The game has decided that is how that's going to work. Now, because there's going to be a lot of, you know, cars on the track, this could potentially backfire horribly. But looks like Piastri is just going to have 1 Gasly to get by, and then we'll be fine. Norris is probably going to have a little bit worse of a time here, but we still should be okay.
Good job, let's check the flag.
Harris could potentially be out, and he is. Russell and Hamilton still are also in danger. Okay. Tsunoda versus Rick. The epic battle. Rick wins.
Your P4.
Tsunoda. Can you improve?
Well done, we're through.
Are you pushing? I don't
Good
think
job.
you're pushing. No, you're not. So another push there and push Verstappen out, that would actually be insane. Have a spreadsheet, calculating tire wear and times for the races. Yeah. That sounds like something pretty hefty to keep up with, Lazarus, though. Keeping the facility in condition important. It is important if you're planning on using the, benefit of that facility. But, in my opinion, it is more worth it to basically get the... Well, we hit 100 on both. Happy with that. It's basically more important for you to save money for development. And once you get to getting into, the 70-80% ranges for your parts, that's when facility is going to be more important and actually, giving you more stats. So, honestly, letting them degrade early on should be okay. Unless, of course, you have a lot of money. Because you can refurbish them by upgrading them, which is kind of a funny way of doing things, saving a little bit extra cash. Oh, you mean degradation charts? You mean this thing? Compound performance? Yes, in this case, well, the mediums really, you don't really want to use them here too much. They have about 12 laps before they're equal to the hards. Softs have about 20 before they're equal to the medium. So yeah, want to avoid medium, run hard, or softs here if it's dry. Yeah. Upgrade everything except suspension and front wing. Yeah, you should upgrade them too, Hamad. The way that you want to do those two is that your suspension, you want to focus 3 things. Your brake cooling, your low speed cornering, and your airflow front. That'll give you a pretty solid wing for running low speed cornering. It'll give you... Sorry, that is your suspension. Your suspension, you should do low speed cornering, brake cooling, and sensitivity front, all to the maximum. And then you want to kind of do a low speed and airflow front focused.
Yeah, confirm.
I didn't check that out. We should be safe though. And do the basically that for the front wing. Low speed, airflow front, and kind of keep braking at about a balance. And that should give you a lot of low speed cornering altogether. And that is basically what I was missing from the start of that video. So yeah, you should definitely upgrade both, and again, keep your durability at a minimum. That was plan self-silent, so yeah. That does sound like a good plan, Rathlery. Could I do a video on the best possible sliders for each part? I probably could down the line, Sam, but again, I am back at work, so I am kind of limited in my recording time. So we'll have to see exactly how long that's going to take. It's probably going to take a couple of days before I get something like that out. But yeah, basically the Alfa Romeo is a good pointer for that though. So if you're curious, you can have a look at that. It's basically maximizing your cooling and something your cornering, and then you're cooling those, so it should definitely work. Probably focus researcheries, honestly. Just sit back, do research, try and keep about 10 million alive of the cost cap in case you have extra, damage. Need to fish on an engine or so. Sacrifice this season, research a shit ton for next season. I should be dominant. Yeah, you should be, honestly, to be fair, but you need to survive the season.
Okay, Oscar.
Yeah, as Alex says, those are the more important ones in terms of heavy, so that you'll see the most gain in performance from those 4 in terms of, shedding weight. Love the alpha vids and alpha tower speedrun. Super good and informative. I'm glad you enjoy it, Sambi. Thank you for your feedback. Glad you enjoy those. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sam. Again, I enjoy this game a lot, but unfortunately, daily life has reclaimed me. So I'll probably be focusing a little bit more on having a daily, say, Alpha Tauri, Alfa Romeo speedrun, kind of have them running every other day. and probably have one other video that I'll be focused on something else. And for the next couple of days, I think it's going to be basically a general guide of the sign, basically just a refurbished one for later tonight. Probably a setup guide for tomorrow, maybe a sprint guide for the day after. So it's probably going to take a few days. I've also had requests to make a guide on the editor, so there's a lot of ideas here. And I just did a super dumb here for this quali run. I should have done it on fresh tires. But yeah, we got beat by Williams because I was a little bit too unfocused there. That's my bad, but I'll own up to it. Nothing we can do at this stage though because of the wet quali. That's a shame. Yeah. You do want to have a bit of a... Honestly, you'd want to have a bit of bank going into next year. 20 million for sure, as Lasser says, it's going to be good for you. Is this game more difficult than 22 for me? It is kinda, because they've added a bit more complexity, they rebalanced a bunch of stuff, but as I learned the game, it becomes, you know, easy to understand what is the best choice. But I think they are going to be rebalancing a few things come the patch in September. That's the only thing that would make sense, because there are a couple of things now that give you a huge advantage as a player versus the AI. So once those rebalances hit, we might see, again, a bit of a shift where it's going to be a bit more difficult. So yeah, I definitely say that it's more complex and in-depth than 22 was. When I get Canada, I'm only research from now, unless I need to design, yeah. Worst moment F1 managed so far? I was in 10th, about to get a point with Alpha. I haven't really had a super bad moment, but this one is pretty bad because, again, I forgot that it was raining. And Norris is going to start at the back of the grid, though, but that's going to give him a huge confidence boost as he just overtakes everyone. I think we're going to do a bit of a interesting one here. Full attack, soft, hard, soft. This could definitely work tremendously well. So we're going to go ahead and do just that. Full attack, pull everything, and Piastri could hit the gearbox here, like he'll hit yellow, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Should be okay. Yeah, last game was me. Everything's the riding you're good. It is a bit more in depth. You can make specialized parts here. You have a few strategies you can do for upgrades, so it's definitely good here. Back again, what happened in the last hour? We had a pretty meh race up. I was about to say Brazil at Spain, and right now we are setting up for not the best here in Canada. Norris had to take a penalty to the ERS, and I also had a pretty bad quality because I forgot the fact that it was raining. So yeah, kind of threw away the quality here. Norris is going to be starting from the back, and we're going to see if we can make anything out of this. So going to be a bit interesting, Marco.
70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers here in Montreal. The drivers are ready and raring to go.
I did focus movements, Jack, yeah. I switched over to the long pace one for training. Screenshot of your development for future. Yeah, that goes into the bank, I guess. Let's see if we... The thing is, Norris has Paris, Russell, Hamilton. What was I even thinking? Oh, this is gonna be sad.
Let's fight early overtake.
Confirm.
We are gonna do a bit of a gamble here though and go high aggressive on both boys, because I have to run after this one, so I want to give myself a little bit of a challenge coming back next time around. Surpassingly, I assume surprisingly, they did not bad in Canada. Glad they changed the fact that when you run tires for zero, you can't force a safety car. Yeah. Well, skip practice or use more percent of damage. Use 10 my drives for the curves, driving pairs to reduce the damage. You will probably take more overall if you do that yourself, because you'll probably be running more laps, honestly. So it's just it's still just fine. It's Apple spell. It's autocorrect. Yeah, I understand that's right. It's just, I understand what you mean though. It's just funny when autocorrect just takes over. But yeah, Lando has really fucked it though. It's basically the what's it called? Basically, I just need to take a new ERS from crashing earlier. What is this version of the game? It's 23. Basically the, I believe, standard version of the game for 23. The patch release a few days ago, maybe? I don't know. Mick been any good? Nah, I haven't really seen anything, you know, spectacular. He's 11th right now, so we might see something this time around. Hopefully. We are running the tires really hot, but it's still not hot enough. We are still safe. They can go up to 120, so we aren't overheating them. Well, we are overheating them, but we aren't overheating them enough for us to be slowed down by it, so this is perfectly okay. Now, this is going to be interesting here for Norris, because he's probably going to reach a peak confidence never seen before in the basic man, because I don't think I've started from the back very often. So, unless he crashes on the, you know, initial run here, this could be kind of fun. Sack him off. Never can at last lap, Lando, yeah. What would I suggest for driving at the moment? As I said, pace long, or basically long runs. There's one called that gives you smoothness, reactions I think it is, and braking or cornering. What is the manager? F1 Manager 23. Balance development before Bahrain. Yeah, that's good. Balance ain't bad. It is actually good too, so I wouldn't be too worried there. Is it worth to put in more fuel? Generally, I would not recommend putting in more fuel because pushing fuel doesn't really seem to be good here because it just extra. It actually heats up your tires extra to the point where it doesn't actually give you any extra benefit. I feel like. I do not use this one in my saves. Hamilton with a bit of a penalty. Hopefully he did not touch. I see Magnussen here just parked.
Now it looks to be
Full
Lewis
safety
Hamilton
car.
involved in that.
Yeah, 100% do smoothness, I agree. Oh.
Saying I've been hit.
Lando started last and just overtook you randomly, yeah. Yeah, Josh, I say top speed isn't going to be that much of a focus this game. You aren't going to need to super focus on it. The fact that everyone is pitting already, though, is kind of surprising, in all honesty. They're going to go on those hards to the end of the race, and if they do, we're going to have a huge advantage. So, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Cornering over speed, indeed. Just focus cornering over your top speed. Smoothness does seem to affect fuel usage, indeed, yeah, Andy, and it should be the only stat. Yes, when a safety car is also a really obvious C, is a really good way of saving fuel. You're not wrong. I did also forget to put on the ERS battle assist, and I'm reminded of it, so I need to put that on. Should make overtaking a bit easier. From my experience, balanced driver development, it could be better for sure, Alex. I've basically just been focusing away from, say, you're overtaking, you're defending, and trying to focus into more impactful stats, I think. You saw Taylor Swift in stance? Bro sent him through Shadow Realm? Yeah, it's K-Mag. K-Mag got assaulted by Hamilton, in this case. Hello, Amish World, how you doing? Maximum straight line speed? Probably a lot, but we'll see. In the moment, not consuming Delta ERS? I don't know, honestly. What does the ERS ballast do, and will it ever deplete you? Are you finished by any chance, Perk? the ERS... Excuse me there. The ERS assistant basically just allows your driver to basically use a part of the battery as he sees fit for attacking and defending. It's basically automation of the ERS. So that's generally what it does.
Safety car will be in this lap.
It's kind of hard, Kai, to say what is the best development set, but right now I am partial to the long, long pace focus. I think that's what it's called. But a lot of people are saying that there is a case made for just running balanced, so you can probably run either of those and still be okay. Honestly. Top speed DRS from your rear wing. Focus on foot from your chassis for cornering, Josh. Yeah, Clementine has the right idea, honestly. I'm doing well, Army. Just a bit tired after work, so I'll be heading to a stall after this race. How are you doing? Should I use the safety and wind tunnel hours? Yes, use them on the underfloor. I used the first 2 sets of safety and wind tunnel on the underfloor, Hamad. All of it. Brazilian, okay.
Pack is low.
Yeah, 325. I think they can go way above that though, that's the thing.
DRS enabled.
Okay, DRS enabled. Norris and Piastri both now are getting up in here though. Norris just overtook Schumacher. So yeah, looking a bit more promising with that safety car. Kind of helps us out there. We'll have to see what we do with Piastri here because we might just need to recharge a little bit. But I think we're still good. Update chips onto Inter's 3 laps before rain. Yeah. The pit stop cap should be about 1.8 seconds because you get about 0.015, 0.016 from every point of aptitude. So should be somewhere around there. That's as far as I got, but now I have to fight the giant reg change in Season 3 already. We get a pretty chill reg change this time around. We just hit 5% of everything, which should be pretty easy. Am I having deja vu, or did you race at Canada early this week? I probably did for the Alpha HarrySir, I think. Would not surprise me, hippity hoppity. I hope that I loaded up the correct McLaren save because they too run on a, well, 2-save system. Just in case I mess up, but I think I'm where I should be, hopefully. The blacked out name is not anyone being, you know, censored or anything like that. It's just Mick Schumacher who's currently glitched, and his name just doesn't show up on the sheet here. It's Mick Schumacher. His name is bugged out currently, so it doesn't show up here. Pit stopping every lap for DHL is quickest before retiring. Asambi, it only counts your 1 quickest lap. So even if I pit Norris 10 times, it'll only count the quickest pit stop for the DHL. So you can't get more than, say, the top 2 in any given race weekend. So there's no point in doing that. Are there changes in this game as mental as last year? I haven't seen any mental changes yet, honestly, David, but I haven't gone much past Season 3. Piastri here doing what Piastri does best. By the looks of things. Terminal. I shouldn't have done this. I never should have done this. That's also been his fault though, and he did take out a Red Bull, so...
we should be able to take a look here.
Execute Order 66.
And you can see how tight it is. And the impact on the car.
Okay, so he touched him and then hit the wall.
No doubt be very keen.
I'm wondering if that was a fresh gearbox for him because I have bad memories when it comes to that. We are probably going to take this opportunity to pit though, let's be honest. Are we? We're going to be coming out in the back no matter what we do here. So I guess we will not take the opportunity to pit it. We'll probably stretch... We might actually stretch the soft to a level where we can just do a 1-stop at this rate. We'll see.
Drive to the Delta.
Confirm.
You know if there will be an update to switch teams mid-career? Yeah, it's going to be an update in September, Rob, and it should be effective for, you know, other games as well. Not other games. It should be effective. Any save you start now, you should be able to do the team switching update on in September, so they'll be retroactive. Minus 70 for all pass. That's going to be painful. You're going to be living in the research lab forever.
VSC ending.
Confirm.
Race hard, hippity hoppity. I see you're working. You're enjoying F1 for sure.
DRS
Yes, Kai, it does work. You can do that as much as you want. I'm not going to do it for this because I feel like that is the biggest kind of glitch cheese you can actually do. Would you recommend giving my first driver the majority of the upgrades and saving money? If you have a driver that is a lot better than your other one, yeah, that could for sure pay
Can
off
use
for you.
overtake.
So, in the Alpha save, we're doing that for Bottas. But yeah, if you're running things normally, in terms of manufacturing, just put your upgrades on your best driver and give your second driver upgrades when you can. I wouldn't be too worried
And
about
it
that.
seems like Hulkenberg's had a bit of trouble.
Hulkenberg doing trouble as well. Challenge feature where you choose any team and have to rebuild them would be nice, honestly. World-class tactics from Piastri. Well, Hulkenberg felt left out, so he decided to attack a AlphaTauri, Red Bull Light, so to speak. Yeah, you can actually find the teams you created, Rob. Then yeah, but it's still gonna be about a month out or so. If I ever do a hash save, K-Pack is gone. Be nasty. Your design center burnt down? Yeah, that's gonna hurt a little bit. Goes pretty mid. Looking forward to replacing with Porsche. It hurts you a lot flying, honestly. The extra weight from parts, the biggest gain you can get in performance early game is just shedding weight from making parts that have minimum durability, honestly. That is going to be the main goal. Oscar Piastri, disaster Piastri backwards round. I think there's a reason why a lot of people just say that Piastri should be called Disastri for this this game, which is again very unfortunate for him. I think we are gonna also speed things along a little bit here. So Norris is currently running with Sainz. We have a little bit of gap to Gasly. Sainz is also running softs, so this is still looking good. We do need to try and again just get a big of a gap as we can, so we can actually pin into a window that isn't just one huge DRS train. So we'll be pushing these softs here a little bit longer for sure. Because right now we are running 15.5s. These guys are running a lot slower than us, so there's no need to actually, stress with getting on new tires. 16.6 there. We're not running that much quicker anymore, so maybe we should stress with new tires. Maybe. We'll see though. Keep showing Alpha until it wins the championship to keep it hard. Could do that. Dry stretching game, 6mm of rain stays out in inters. Yeah. The thing is, Kai, you lose a bit of pace, yes, but the amount of extra tire you get more than makes up for that. So over the course of a race, you're not really going to lose much time. On the test that I did in Bahrain, it was like 3 and 5 second. It was a 3 and 5 second difference over the course of a full race. So you barely lose time at all. And if you, at the end of your stints, just go attack, and you are, well, attack without the avoid curbs, you are going to have a massive advantage. We are actually just going to have to pit here, I think. And I think we're just going to pit onto a new set of softs. Because that should make it really easy to overtake those hard runners. And then we'll do hard for the final one. But we are a little bit off here on our pit stops, so we'll see if this actually, works out well for us or not. Where is Norris going to be able to sneak out here? He's going to sneak out in the middle of that pack. Or just in front. I should have put him on the hards. That was a massively amazing pit stop, honestly. We'll take that for sure. An F2 driver worth it if you're going to be playing 4 seasons. Porsche is pretty good, honestly. You say that seems pretty far off, but he is not far behind Tsunoda. He's not far behind, a lot of the talents. He's, I believe, just behind Piastri. And again, he is fairly young, so you can, of course, just put him in the reserve seat after he wins F2, and that'll generally be good. Behrman is also a, good choice. He's fairly young, though, so you're probably going to have to wait a little bit before you can pick him up. But yeah, he's a great choice. And you have spelled it correctly, so don't worry, Marco. Yeah. Yeah, because the performance gain is kind of linked to how well they do, so you do need to have them in a good car. Porsche has better pace stats than Piastri, but there's one thing he's lacking. I don't actually remember what it is right now, but it's one thing that is kind of hurting him quite a bit. So, yeah, He has decent stats, but he does need a little bit of development before you really put him in the car. Sargent's being an absolute shocker. I fired Sargent for Albin to return. Okay. Ferrari player's gotta be Arthur Leclerc. Yeah. Smoothness is bad? Yeah, his smoothness is bad. And honestly, in the current version of the game, smoothness is king. Because tire wear. Basically running attack gives you a huge amount of time to the point where it doesn't matter how badly your tires are, you'll still have an advantage. So you do need to get his smoothness up, and then you should be good. A lot of cars are pitting now, and that is basically the other sub runners. So hopefully here we can catch Stroll, which is kind of evil because Stroll is running his home GP. So yeah, we are going to be running potentially Stroll stay here, and if we really want to ruin it, then Norris might just straight up take him out. But yeah, peak confidence, we have maxed our cornering, basically maxed our braking. Accuracy is also pretty high, so yeah, we'll take this for sure. This is looking good. Now, the main thing that we want to do now is, if we can, of course, is pull away from Stroll, get a bit of a gap. So,
We don't want to overcook the
what we're actually going to do here is slow down. And once we get on the main straight next time around, because we should actually have the DRS ourselves here, we're just going to deploy and run away from Stroll now, because Rick decided to graciously give us an out. So that is beautiful. I'm using the live as workout motivation. I ate cat tuna. Canned tuna ain't bad though. It's like a really nice pick me up at times, honestly. That's why I didn't like Bashir, because of smoothness. To me, Gallic K-Mag, Cyrus and High is a lot better. Yeah, honestly, it's again personal preference how you play this game, to be fair. It is a single player game, you can play it just how you prefer. And there's not really any wrong way to play it, from that matter. They get a dev point per FP1. Okay, so you can get 23 points per season then. And you also get some randomly from your race sim, probably around 3 points a month. So it's not horrible. Yeah, smoothness does have a effect on fuel use. That is why you'll see differences between your drivers in terms of the fuel at the start of the races. As I said, Jordan, smoothness doesn't affect tire temps, but what have you gone broken here? Oh, your engine, don't worry, that's fine. Your smoothness doesn't affect your tire temps, but it allows you to run high tire temps without losing as much tire. Basically, the higher your smoothness, again, we're running full attack. This is the expected degradation under full attack. But because we have high smoothness, we can run attack and still save a lot more tire, which will have a huge effect on your, again, your lap times. But again, it doesn't really allow you to run higher tire temps, but it allows you to have less effect from high tire temps. It has no real effect on the temperatures themselves. It just lessens the negative effects because the smoothness is high, so your degradation is low to begin with. Potentially spent 3 times in one spot. That's what it, yeah. That is fair. Hamilton and Russell have 1 point difference smoothness. Hamilton safe start of game 1 kill, yeah, 0.1 kg. It's very minor, but again, everything does help in this game, so I take it. Alonso's now a good 17 seconds behind. We're still having pretty good times. He's going to be pitting towards the end, though, but he's going to be going on to potentially a tie that will be bad for us. We'll have to see it, though, because with the amount of laps that we have done now on these softs, we could go mediums. Again, mediums aren't really a time that you want to use here, but if you just have 20 laps to go for, mediums will still be a good choice. So for this one, we're probably going to run mediums towards the end here as we reach the well, 30% mark here. We're going to be pushing these kind of to the edge, as long as I said, we gain time on Alonso, because then we can pit, we can get out, and we'll still be in first. I think it would be a good idea to make calendar changes throughout the seasons. It would be a nice addition, Pedro, honestly. Right now, you can actually do it with a, editor, but it's not anything that is in the game or something like that. And as I said, I've had a couple of requests to make videos on how that works. and generally even how to install it. So, yeah. What did Vesti do for you, Matty? Replacing Russell with Alonso? Keep in mind that Alonso is fairly old, and he does actually degrade kind of quick in the game. So, that is going to be kind of your limiter there for Alonso. The amount of points they could get per practice is more decided by the amount of laps and how hard they run than just at 1 point. That would be nice though, Alex. Do you know if they get 1 point if you just run 1 lap and just have them sit out? Because that would be funny. Yes, Kai. The way that the driver sim works is that it increases your development. You get a little bit extra each week. So the higher level the race sim, in theory, the higher they are gonna develop. Yeah, Alonso is open to negotiation with a lot of teams, interestingly enough, so you can kind of snatch him up for wherever you are, which is funny. Hards are 13 laps, mediums are 22 laps, versus softs, yeah. So yeah, in this case, mediums are fine because we are only going to be running them for 17 laps. So medium versus hard in this case is what we will be looking at. Medium should be quicker for, I think, is about 13 or so laps, so for this, it's perfectly fine to run it. I would assume they'll create a team, but probably for a future edition of the game. People were really hoping for it for this game, but then they added the race replay feature instead. So, yeah. Flash working your pits? Maybe. That would actually be a hilarious... Why haven't they done that yet, by the way? Just have the Flash do a pit stop for a team for Formula 1. That's just a side quest. Yeah, honestly, Alex, I think it should scale. Just join what the Piastri do. Piastri decided that into corner 1, we're gonna try and assassinate Verstappen. And he did succeed, but he crashed himself out in the attempt. So, yeah. Piastri had a little bit of fun there. I'm glad, Miller. Hope you're having fun. Sergeant has been solid for you. That you're probably the only one who has a solid Sergeant. Little Loggy. Yeah, Norris and Piastri are still crashing the McLaren of ours quite regularly, so I'm not surprised. Might be a dumb question, but how do I make the car better on its tires? The Afterwork with Titans more than Williams. Your brake cooling, Jordan. Your brakes will be putting heat into your tires, and the better your brake cooling is, the less heat will be, you know, put into the tires, and generally it'll make your tires run cooler. So basically, as I said, brake cooling will be the key there. Other than that, you don't really have much of a, you know, influence on it, other than say if running attack, aggressive, or standard. So that is basically how we do that. Racing does count for cost cap, yes. Team hub and scouting facility does not. But it's just the upkeep, Reese. I see he has a little kamikaze arc going on. Yeah, basically. I'm from Norway, BT. I did the quality trick, helped me a lot. I'm glad. I'm glad it helps you out. Sergeant scored 32 points. Albon had 60 something. That sounds like a pretty decent first season for Williams, though, Alex, to be fair. Sergeant, my save has been worse than Sarsory. Yeah, it's kind of funny because some like this McLaren save, I had a lot of incidents. But Tsunoda decided to be an angel in that Alpha Tauri speedrun. And again, I don't understand why, but it's just funny to me. Now, we have a good 20 seconds save to Stroll, which is going to speed things up. Probably should have done that a little bit earlier, honestly. Yeah, upgrading the racing won't count towards your cost cap, but the racing upkeep will be counting towards your cost cap. None of the buildings, when you upgrade them, will be affecting the cost cap. It's the maintenance that will be have an effect. So, upgrading, say, your...
What a remarkable drive.
We can actually just have a look at it right now, and I'll explain a little bit better. So, Norris 1, we have Stroll 2nd, Alonso 4th, Leclerc 3rd. Verstappen actually managed to get up into 50th, which is 11th there towards the end. You failed, Piastri. Norris still leading the championship, though. We'll take that. And we still have a pretty decent, you know, chunky on the constructors. Unfortunately, no second pit stop here because, well, again, your driver can only have one. And Piastri never pitted because he, well, decided to go kamikaze. I think this Saint Yuki. Yeah, I like Tsunoda, honestly. So can stats go to 100 without boost? Yes, they kind of cap out at 100 though, so you might want to start focusing on other stats once you get close to the boost, just because of that. I said no, Norway, yes, Norway. It would be kind of mean to tell you I'm from nowhere, but yeah, Norway. We are going to be keeping him, yes, William, don't worry. I'm going to try and keep him in the team as well. Now, basically, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on how the cost cap of facilities work. It doesn't go into your cost cap to do the upgrade, but the increase in monthly upkeep is going to have an effect on your cost cap for most buildings. All of them in car development, the upkeep is going to be hitting your cost cap, which is kind of why you don't want to upgrade certain buildings. Your design center is one of those you do want to upgrade though. But for your staff facilities, neither of these two go into your cost cap. This is the only one that has an effect on cost cap from the maintenance. And on the operations facilities here, your weather center will actually have an effect on your cost cap. The maintenance does go in under your cost cap. The rest of the buildings you can upgrade as you see fit. I feel like the board should have negative confidence gain if I'm just, you know, not maintaining the boardroom, which would be funny. The bugs in this game make it so easy. Hopefully they don't change them. Honestly, I hope they change them. I would like that. Nice to start with McLaren to be the worth of 2.2 billion. Yeah. So now that penalty sucks. It does. It really does. Went for no pistol shot. Finished the race immediately. Yeah. 42 million in the bank. Did you even get close to cost cap, Alex? Experience mile for tire save. Yuki is very good with the aggressive overtake because he is aggressive. Yeah. So Noda is pretty good at just being aggressive. The helipad, the reason why I'm saying it's good is honestly just for one reason in its entirety. It gives you 5% extra sponsor payouts, which means that this thing pays for itself pretty quickly. And it's going to help with you with, you know, getting more money. That's honestly the only reason why you want to upgrade it. I don't know why I thought you were from Australia. Probably because I have friends from kind of all over the world. I've been playing games for a long time. So my English can switch very quickly from Irish to Australian to basically potato. And as a result, I'm not surprised that people believe that I'm from different places of the world. Honestly, Cyrus, I wouldn't recommend show at all. It's a bit unfortunate, but that is the reality. There are better drivers, yes, Marco says. 9 and 13 in Melbourne, Rick is class, yeah. Thought I was British. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Asambi. I usually speak with a pretty weird, like, no accent thing. But every now and again, one accent will just take over without me realizing. And that kind of messes up that for a lot of people. Yeah. Broke the cost cap by $1 million at the end, but I had such a good year. Didn't spend much on extra parts. That's fair, though. Let's get on to the next race. Unfortunately, I kind of have to run to the store now. I have a few things I need to get done tonight, so... Bit of a shorter stream today, and as I said, I'll try and get posted notes. I'll put one up at on my monitor here, and hopefully that'll help me remember to put drivers into P1. Hopefully, in the future. But yeah, I'm about to end the stream here, unfortunately. Where's Hauge then? If I'm from Norway, that is a bit disappointing. Honestly, probably should do Hauge a bit more, to be fair, but it is what it is. The switch over in December put me over it. 600k left at Yas. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, William, but a bit of a shorter stream today. I'll probably be back with a longer one on Wednesday, though, because I'll be working shorter day then. North England. Yeah, again, I've been playing with basically... I've been playing mostly with 2 British people, so that isn't that surprising. Team attractors allow you to get better sponsorships. That would actually be a good addition to that, honestly. That would be probably the better way of doing it. I would agree with you there, Rasek. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that once they do fix those bugs, they're gonna introduce new ones without meaning to. Funnily enough. Show us a decent drive if you need a challenge, if not, don't pick him, yeah. Best buildings to upgrade. We can do this quick. You want your helipad pretty much immediately because, well, extra money from sponsors. The others that you'd like to get pretty soon are your team hub, extra staff development, your race sim, extra driver development. And after that, it's kind of up to you what you like. I'd like to get factory level 3. It gives you 4 projects you can run simultaneously, meaning you have a little bit of flexibility with your manufacturing. And after that, I'll probably recommend your car part test center. And the main reason for that is it doesn't have much of an upkeep. And again, the upkeep here will go into your cost cap, but these stats are pretty good for the upkeep that you get. Same here for the suspension sim. You don't need to upgrade your CFD and wind tunnel sim. They won't really pay for themselves. The reason why you don't want to upgrade these is because, as you can see, the upkeep goes down by a lot. In this case, almost 70,000, meaning that if I were to upgrade this, it would basically cost me about an extra 900,000 a year of just directly off my cost cap. So a max level wind tunnel and max level CFD sim, it's going to cost you just maintenance about 13 million. That goes off your cost cap. So it's better to just keep both of these low for that reason, because you can only use them for 6 parts a year. And for research, they will only act as a level 1 building anyways. So unless you use them for design, do not upgrade these two ever. It's just not worth it. I know it's very tempting. I know they seem to be a good choice, but they just aren't. Then I won't forget the reserve driver if I get Javier. Probably not, but honestly, I probably will. Take care, bye. Yeah, Jordan, I'm going to have to run now. Jordan, you are correct. The Science Center, Tour Center, Race Sim, yeah, those are good as well. I will not be streaming tomorrow, unfortunately, Hamad. I don't think I will, at least. I'll be working late, so if I do stream, it's going to be even later than today, and probably even shorter from that. But as said, on Wednesday, I'm probably going to be streaming as I have a short day then, so expect to stream then. But yeah, no stream tomorrow, unfortunately. Okay. What happens if we go into death? Your board will actually hate you. Unfortunately, Sarah, no stream tomorrow. I'll be streaming on Wednesday next, so thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. It's been fun. And as I said, hope to see you on Wednesday. I'll be streaming close to my normal time of 1500 Central European summertime, CEST, so I'll be there on Wednesday probably. Thank you, Razak. Hope you have a great week too. Have a good evening all. I'll run to the store, get some post-it notes, and we'll try and actually see if we can remember that we have a reserve driver next time. Bye-bye.